All right. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Terri Mathias. And so I'm going to actually share my screen so that way you can see the slide that I put together. Um, okay. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, perfect. So today we'll be covering minimizing stress through time management and creative expression. Um, and we'll cover, I did an about me just because I know that I share a little bit about myself, but I know that it doesn't really, like what I shared with Capella doesn't really capture all the essence of all the things that I do and the things that are important to me and why even I wanted to do this Spill the Tea. We'll also cover topics of stress management, planning, brain dumping, prioritizing, and task delegation, as well as time blocking and creative flow. So I know on the flyer, one of the things that I definitely wanted you guys to do was bring your paper, your pen, and a snack so that way I could spill the tea. So if you didn't bring those things, I'm definitely gonna give y'all some time to grab those things because I want this to be a very relaxed, chill space environment. I'm really big on cultivating spaces where everyone feels like at ease. I always share the disclaimer that I come from a military family. And so if you are familiar with the military, then you know that we have our ways of doing things, and we also just like to be ourselves. I am also ex-Navy as well, so definitely a sailor girl at heart. So let me hop into the about me. So I am a North Central University graduate. I specialize in child and adolescent therapy, and I also take a holistic therapy integration approach. I attended the Holistic Academy, which is actually a program that was created by MFT, Linnea Crawford Smith. And so I joined her academy and learned how to incorporate a lot of holistic practices like the chakras, meditation, sound bathing, etc., into my therapy practice. I have a group private practice, and I am a multi-state licensed AMFT approved supervisor. So I'm in Georgia, but I'm also licensed in South Carolina, Florida, and soon to be California. I'm just waiting for them to send me that great old license number. Um, but I'm a group private practice owner. I also am a site. So I have a few interns that work with me at the group private practice. Um, also, I am a direct support service provider with the Department of Children and Family Services, aka DFACS or CPS. And then I am contracted with Macon Bibb County. It is a county that is in Georgia, and we have a contract with Macon where we provide therapeutic support services for children who are at risk of going to DJJ, Department of Department of Juvenile Justice. And so like therapy services is kind of like an alternative. And so there's that. This is my second year in academia, and I'm really excited. I'm not new to Capella, but this is my third term. So I guess you could say that I'm kind of new, but not really. But this is my second year overall teaching. And so I have a program called the Hillman Collective, which is a supplemental program for specifically marriage and family therapists. So even at the group private practice, all of the interns are marriage and family therapists. So I am MFT girly, okay? Like they always say, oh, she's a girls. I'm MFT girl, okay? And so I have the Hillman Collective. I also am an author, a publisher. I am a creative, which is, of course, a part of this Spill the Tea. And then I am a stationary enthusiast. If y'all could see my office, it is Michael's. It's Michael's in here. I always just show this side because if y'all saw that side, y'all be like, girl, let me get a pen some sticky notes, like all the things. I have all the things. But my greatest accomplishments is being a mother and a wife. And so I manage all the things, and I'm going to show you guys how, with all the things that I manage on a daily, I definitely wanted to show you guys how to manage your stress, or any anxieties that you have, and kind of like put those at ease through creative expression and also time management. So let's get into the next thing. And I will also say that I am not a what is it? Like a what is the term? Like a techie person. So don't judge me, okay? I know that there's a way that you can put this up and like you don't even see that this is on Canva, but we're gonna pretend like y'all just see the slides and not the whole Canva part, okay? All right. So did you know that stress management, when you think about stress management, approximately 80% of college students report feeling stressed regularly, and that is often due to academic pressures and life changes. One of the reasons why I even wanted to do this Spill the Tea is because I have taught, right now I'm teaching the foundations course. So shout out to my babes that are in here, my healing warriors. But I teach the foundations course, and then I also have taught SBL. I've also done like the research methods course. And like what I've seen across the board is the difficulties with like life, right? Like managing life responsibilities and just like work, being a parent, work, like all the things, like managing that and going to school. And so like it was really important for me to just teach, like, one, what you're experiencing is absolutely normal, and I wanted to create a space that shares that, but also just like give some gems on how to manage stress because life can be overwhelming. Another thing is time management skills are vital for stress reduction, and students who plan their schedules are less likely to feel overwhelmed. So if you are not a planner girl, or guy, right, I'm going to highly, highly recommend it because you do reduce a lot of stress when you manage your time or you plan things out. If you set realistic goals, that can help you prevent feeling overwhelmed. And what you would do is you would break larger tasks into smaller ones by creating manageable steps that make stress easier to tackle. And then the next thing is creativity fosters innovative thinking. It enables individuals to approach stressors with a fresh perspective, and this can lead to a better solution for problems, transforming challenges into manageable tasks. So that's just my did you know piece. Now we're going to start to get into the more the good stuff. Okay, so I don't know if I don't want anyone to tell their age, right? But I grew up in a time when I was in like elementary school and middle school, and they gave out agendas like planners. Is there anyone else who can relate, or am I telling my age?
They actually still give out those planners in middle school.
I had to
Okay.
do it as well, so you're not alone.
Okay. So that is so when I was I think in fifth grade is when I was first introduced to a daily, I think they just called them agendas at the time. And that was my first experience with a planner. And at the back, it had like stickers and like all the things. And then I got into Lisa Franks, and baby, you couldn't keep me from Lisa Franks, okay? Like I see some of y'all like Skylar, like girl, yes, I can relate. I can relate. I see it. So the power of planning helps with increasing clarity and focus, improving time management, reducing anxiety, enhancing productivity, and it fosters an opportunity for you to reach and achieve your goals. And it also allows for adaptability and informed decision making and improving one's overall well-being and quality of life. So we're actually wanting everyone to get a piece of paper because I want you to actually do this with me. You're going to plan with me, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is brain dump. So what is it? Because I actually did a brain dump with my interns. Now some of them have been working with me for a year, and I actually felt embarrassed because I was practicing for y'all with my interns earlier today, and it was like, Dr. Terri, it was a brain dump, and I was like, dang, I never taught y'all what that is. I feel bad. So essentially, a brain dump is when you, like, I like to call it a mental space declutter, right? Like you're taking everything that is in your brain and you are writing it down on a piece of paper and you're getting it out of your mind, right? You're doing this though without censoring anything, without editing, and the intent behind it is to clear your mind and gain clarity so that way you have room for focused thinking. So one of the things that I did on for this particular slide is I came out, I didn't come up with, like I researched it, okay? I don't want you to be like, girl, you made this up. I didn't, I promise. I researched, like, yeah, but I researched what is the statistics about around like retaining information, right? And so the human brain, the average human brain retains 10% of what they read, 20% of what they hear, 30% of what they see, 50% of what they see and hear, 70% of what is discussed amongst others, and 80% of what they personally experience, right? And this is really important to know because when you, like when I think about the many roles that I have an admin, and like I'll be honest with you, I don't think that I could live without her because she helps me remember like the little mundane things, and even though I write them down, like it's always just helpful to be like, oh, when we were in the like our provider meeting or something, because they're going so fast in the meetings, she's like, oh, what did you capture this? Did you capture that? And so it's really important to like not beat yourself up when you don't remember everything. And this is why, because the human brain doesn't just have the capacity to remember everything. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and I want you to do a brain dump. But I literally want you to practice this by writing down whatever comes to your mind, no matter how senseless it might seem. Skylar, okay, so I can see Skylar and I can see like a few other people, and that's it. So, but like every time when I say something, Skylar's always smiling, and it's like, okay, good. She's here. I'm rocking with somebody. So I'm saying that because however senseless it is, write it down. Okay. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and then we're going to reconvene and you're going to just do this brain dump. It can be a to-do list. It can be whatever is on your mind. I want you to do that now. And I'm taking the time. We have less than a minute left. Okay, time. How many of y'all still needed more time?
I did. Which
Trust
is
me,
weird.
right. Trust me when I say that, like, I was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all, 5 minutes. But what it does is it gets your brain in the habit of like being very intentional and like not censoring itself, right? Because when we think about like, especially like in the beginning, and I think maybe just because I am seasoned at doing brain dumps, like in the beginning, like I was like, oh, I gotta write this real cute.
I got like a whole half a page.
That's great. That's great. That's great because the reality is that we have so many things that come to mind or so many things that we have to do, and especially when you have multiple roles, right? And I'm going to show you guys how to break this down. Um I cannot not say this, and y'all are probably think I'm so immature, but Valen, has anyone ever told you that you remind them of the girl on The Last of Us? Like I literally was like, oh my God, that's them, but it's not. It's you. It's you.
I don't think I've heard that. I've actually never even seen that show before.
Me either.
Oh, okay. That's your
It's
homework
really
assignment
good.
this week.
I love
If
that show.
only.
See, everyone is saying it like, yes, like you do. I looked for a second, I was like, oh my gosh, but okay. And
I
I'm
thought
not
you
really
said This Is Us at first. I was like, oh, that's a really good show. And then I was like, wait, I haven't seen the one she's
The
talking about.
Last of Us. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
If I didn't say This Is Us, I meant The Last of Us.
No,
'Cause
you said The Last of Us. My brain just
okay.
auto corrected.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that she was on Game of Thrones either. I didn't know that. Yes, she is. Oh my gosh, she is. Okay, she is. Okay. Okay, let me get it back together. I'm sorry, y'all. But about brain dumbing, like it's so important for us to just like get it off of us because we're not going to remember everything, right? And like I mentioned before, I come from a military family. Just from my background, and my upbringing, like, and when I say upbringing, background, I mean my upbringing. My mom was like very much like, if I tell you to do this one time, I'm gonna need you to remember. And I don't know if any of y'all's parent was ever like, your mom would call and be like, hey, take the chicken out the refrigerator. And if you didn't do it and she came home and, oh, okay, making sure. I see the head nods like, girl, not you being the mom now. Like it was over. So I was like really like militant and thinking like I had to remember to do this, right? And so yeah, and like if I was in the middle of doing schoolwork or whatever and I forgot to take the chicken out or take whatever out, that trouble. Trouble. But brain dumping really helps release all of that so you can remember what it is that you need to do. So let's get into the next thing, which is for us to prioritize. And so like to break our tasks down. So I will tell y'all that just when we get to task delegation, I don't know if y'all ever if any of y'all are on TikTok, but on TikTok there was this like trend or like this video that went viral, and this woman was like, ma'am, can you record me? And the lady was like, get somebody else to do it. And I was trying to find that GIF for the longest time, but again, remember, I'm a little tech not savvy, so I couldn't find it. But just know that when we get a task delegation, know that I was thinking, get somebody else to do it. Okay. So when we think about prioritizing the task, I like to break my things down in a few ways, 3 categories. There's no right or wrong way of doing it, but again, the intent is for you to break things down and prioritize them. So the first thing that you want to do is look at your list. And I'm going to teach this to you in 2 ways. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you to do is look at your list, and for you to break things down by what's urgent or important, the effort that is going to take for you to complete it, and the resources that you have to complete each task. So when I think of urgency, I am military and I am very much myself in all spaces, right? So when I create my personal list, I have my urgent AF list, I have my it can wait list, and then I have maybe I'll do it when I'm done. Okay, when I'm dead, not done, when I'm dead. Because I hate really doing like mundane things like folding clothes. Like I'll die a million times before I fold clothes. Like I actually have clothes on the couch that need to be folded. And it's not a priority to me. So you want to think about what is important, right? And a lot of times I can't reiterate this enough, because a lot of times we tend to make things urgent that really aren't urgent, right? So who would like to volunteer? Maybe I'll have you guys break it down, and then if anyone is open to volunteering their list, then you're more than welcome to. But think about your list that you created, and then whatever you can say, like urgent, whatever you want to call you, however you want to categorize yours. So it could be like mine, where you have those things that are immediately need to be done within 24 hours or 48 hours. Then you have it can wait, and then maybe when I'm dead. I also have I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with Knock Knock. Again, I am the queen of stationery. But they have like this list, and I'm gonna minimize this for a second. So they have this list where it says accomplish, and then it says today, tomorrow, over the weekend, maybe never, near future, and someday, right? And that maybe that's how you want to categorize yours as well, right? But you want to categorize yours so that way you have everything broken down on what you need to do, so that way the urgent things can get done, right? So let's take about like 3 to 5 minutes to categorize your list, and then we'll come back and reconvene so I can tell you what to do from there. Okay. And if anyone has any questions, definitely feel free to ask them.
Okay. I was about to say, I apologize. I just want to make sure I understand. We're just writing down the categories right now, right?
Yeah, so okay, so on mine, right? So I have only just a few things, but on mine, and again, stationary snob, so I'm getting ready to pull out my highlighters, and wait until I show you what the inside of my planner looked like. You're gonna be like, girl,
I
stare
have
with me.
multicolor highlighters and pins and post-its.
There you go. There you go. Yes, I have my midliners, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 3 colors, right? And I'm going to color block them, or color categorize them. So like pink will probably be like urgent. This yellow will probably be maybe it can wait, or and then I don't know, like this blue would be I'll do it when I'm dead, right? But you want to categorize it based on what is urgent, what needs to be done like immediately, right? And then I'm going to show you how to integrate this into your regular everyday schedule, so that way you're not feeling overwhelmed.
Okay.
And I
I'm
have
having,
a
go ahead.
question on the categories and the maybe when I'm dead versus this is a goal where it's like 1 month, 6 months, yearly goal. Where would those fit into without calling it maybe when I'm dead?
So no, that's actually perfect. And I'm going to
Did
get
I
into
get ahead?
Yeah, you kind of just a smidge, got ahead just a little bit, but I'm gonna definitely cover that as well. And then also how to break down your goals into things that you can implement either weekly or monthly, so that way you're actually achieving the goal.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm just a derp, but normally when I do my planning, I do it on a weekly basis because if I do
Okay.
more than that, then I get overstimulated. So I'm not really sure like how many categories to do for that.
So I okay, let me maybe it might be helpful if I show you what my
Sorry.
planner looks like. Um, because I too am someone who plans. I actually plan Monday through Wednesday, and then on Wednesday is when I plan for Thursday through Sunday, right?
Oh, nice.
Just so that way I don't get overwhelmed. So I have a color key here. And so I have academic tasks, I have appointments, I have personal tasks, I have supervision because I facilitate group supervision for Capella, but also for my interns. I have business related tasks, and then I homeschool my daughter, and then I have house related tasks. So everything is like color coded here, right? So I have a key.
I love
And
it.
then what I do, so after I've done my brain dump, right? So all of these tasks come from my brain dump, right? And
Mhm.
so in the morning routine, I'm a Peloton girl. If any of y'all are Peloton,
I
I
aspire to be.
please, please be a Peloton girl. Please, you will not regret it. But I'm a Peloton girly and I have a morning routine that I'm trying to be consistent with. Now I work out. The morning's routine includes Korean skincare, and baby, that's a lot of steps. Okay. And so, so with that being said, I'm trying to be consistent with it, but I do recognize that if I put it in my planner, it does happen, right? And
Mhm.
so I have my morning routine, and then I have put things away and order groceries because I had to do a Sam's order, and that was something that I did on my brain dump, right? And also check emails and post announcements because I teach the courses, so I needed to make sure that I posted the announcements. I had an endocrinology appointment yesterday. And then I also had to remind myself to bring my meds and my meter because my doctor always is like, well, what's your average? And then I literally make some numbers up because I don't remember, right? But this time I remembered because I wrote it down.
Yes.
I need to go to Trader Joe's and like all the things. So I'm just giving you like a rundown, right? So because what you'll do is you'll break down your to-do list or your brain dump and incorporate it into what your daily routine looks like. So let's say for instance some of y'all like work 9 to 5, right? Or some
Mhm.
of us work 9 to 5. And so over that block of time, you're going to be working 9 to 5, but you do get a lunch. So maybe some of the things that you have to do is like order medication or order groceries or post for your assignment, like your discussion post. Maybe that's something that you want to do during your time. But I'm going to go over block scheduling so that way it makes a little bit more sense because I don't want anyone to see this and be like overwhelmed,
That's a
like
lot. Yeah.
girl. But I also, like I said, I put the colors in here just so that way I remember what I'm doing during that block of time. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You do it in a way that feels good to you. This is just a
Okay.
system that I have just so that way it doesn't overwhelm me.
I even
Um,
thought about getting one of those mega desk calendars. Just because, more space.
I,
'Cause
I,
I
I
can't write tiny.
I had that. I had a
Did it
desk
go well?
calendar. I had a desk calendar. I have a Google Calendar because I literally just saw someone post that. And like if someone like I do assessments for families that have CPS cases. And so I have to
Hmm.
remember like, oh, I just talked to that person. And so like I'll put it in my phone and then I'll remember to put it on my brain dump. So I'll like literally transfer information. If there's an appointment that was scheduled or set up, I'll transfer it into my brain dump so that way I remember. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to
Nice.
find ways that work for you, and
Mm.
you don't like, because I know that this can be a little overstimulating. I know that this can be a little overwhelming, but what I'm going to say to you is take what fits for you or feels good to you and leave what doesn't. Right? Like if it doesn't feel good to you, don't feel like you have to take it, right?
Okay.
Because then I get really, really extra, and then I do my monthly and like include like stickers and stuff like that. And you're like, girl, all the things, way too much. But again, it's the creativity part, because it relieves a lot of stress when you're being creative, when you tap into the right side of your brain.
Right. Thank you. Sorry for that tangent.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So hopefully by now everyone has taken time to categorize their stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I want you to do is, the next slide is to delegate tasks. And what I'm going to say to you is, remember that you're only one person, right? And I know that there's a handful of learners that are in the foundations class that I teach that mentioned that they're single moms, right? And so, you might feel like, if that is your truth, right? You might feel like, girl, who am I delegating these tasks to? Tell me. Who's doing it, right? Except for me, right? And so I'm going to say to you, if you have age appropriate kids, they're going to be your little minions. I'm joking. But seriously, like, delegate it to them, right? Like, if they're like, sometimes, like, for example, I was actually telling this to one of my interns today, that I have a 6-year-old who has Down syndrome, but she's higher functioning, right? And I literally teach her how to make her own lunch. So she is the queen of chicken nuggets, and what is it? Chicken nuggets with ketchup, because it has to be ketchup, not barbecue sauce, not honey mustard. It has to be ketchup, and it has to be cold ketchup, right? But I teach her how to do that, and I also teach her how like to make her little breakfast sausages in the morning, and just like make little meals on her own. One of the reasons why I do that is because I want to teach her a skill, right? But two, because I've also learned the importance of teaching your child how to be independent of you, because you're not always going to be here, right? Like, and I learned that from me losing my own mom. Like, my mom taught me how to live with her, but not live without her. So a lot of things in life I had to learn how to navigate and live without her to do, right? And so I'm essentially teaching the same thing to my daughter, to teach her those skills so that way she can be independent. So if you have age appropriate, maybe it's something as simple as like dumping the trash, or washing dishes, whatever. Don't feel like you have to do all the things, right? And then also outsource, right? Like, there's a lot of mom groups now. I do know that there are some people that are questionable, so do your due diligence, right? But like, if there's a system of, or team of moms that are like, oh, we're banding together, and we're watching each other's kids, or we're cooking, sharing meals and stuff like that. Not everybody food, and I ain't gonna go there, but y'all know what I'm saying. Not everybody can cook, and we know that everybody clean their chicken. And okay, I'm gonna be quiet now. But but the point is, like, outsource, right? Delegate tasks. Don't feel like you have to do everything by yourself, because if you start to feel that way, then you will overwhelm yourself and overstimulate yourself, and that, who does that serve? So all right. So once you delegate it, you figured out who you can delegate tasks to, what kind of tasks. Like, I can't wait until, my daughter's name is Harmony. I can't wait until Harmony gets old enough to wash dishes, because baby, she's already interested, and we got a step stool. Okay, mom's gonna show you how to wash them dishes. Okay, or at least stack them into the dishwasher. Okay. But think about ways that you can delegate tasks. For instance, this weekend we're going on a camping trip, and one of the things that I do is need to get a rental car, because I drive a Kia Soul, and all 5 of us are going on this camping trip. Not a tent, not these cots, not all 5 of us with a baby bin. Not all of that is fitting in a Kia Soul. So I have to rent a car. And in my hearts of hearts, I have to trust that my husband can do it. I have to trust that he can do it. right? But that's me trusting the process and delegating tasks, right? And so there's that on there. There's also folding clothes. My husband don't fold clothes the way that I do. And if any of y'all are married and know what I'm talking about, just say amen in the comments and just know that we hear. But because of the things that I have to do, I might not be able to get around to folding the clothes. And I definitely don't want to go camping with, clothes. But amen. Yes, I definitely don't want to go camping with, clean clothes on the couch, right? So I will probably delegate that task to my husband, right? But the point is that you want to get into the space of delegating tasks and prioritizing your life. All right, so let's look at a Monday through Sunday schedule, right? So if you look at Monday through Sunday, and let's say now again, I acknowledge the fact that I'm coming from a place, I'm going to use the word privilege, come from a place of privilege because I don't work a standard 9 to 5, right? But if any of you guys do, then you already know. Skylar, please don't get me started because I did that for a long time. And then my husband was like, I have to wash clothes. And I was like, you gonna fold mine? And he was like, no. And I was like, well, let them sit there or take them out and then put them back in when you finish washing them. It's so bad. I hate folding clothes. So you're gonna look at a calendar and you're gonna say, all right, what time do I work in the morning? Or what time am I committing my day to, right? So this is transitioning, I think, into the block scheduling. Yes, it's the block scheduling. All right, so what you're gonna do now, my calendar is broken up into hourly and it starts at 6 a.m. Now every morning do I get up at 6, but I do have an 8-month-old, so I be getting up at 6. Am I functioning at 6? Not all the time, mind your business. But the point is, sometimes I get up at 6, okay? And so I will start my morning routine, right? And so I break that up to what is it that I'm going to be doing with my time. The reason why you want to get a calendar that is broken up into hours is so that way you can see what your time goes to and you can block that out. So like, let's think about when we were in middle school, high school, we had like those block days, like A days, B days. You don't know what I'm talking about? Okay. And let's say when you were in math, let's say we knew that we were going to be in math for 50 minutes, right? Well, we knew that in that 50 minutes, we were only doing math stuff. And then we would go to, let's say, language arts. We knew in that 50 minutes that we were in language arts, we were only doing language arts stuff. And that is essentially what you're going to do with your day, right? So I want you to block out the time that you would be spending using the time that you would be spending doing your morning routine, getting ready for the day. And that's a separate time, right? Whatever you do, because I have some what is it, Capella interns that like when we're doing labs sometimes they're like, oh, Dr. Terri, like let me wrap up real quick because I have to work out, right? Like I had to work out. Handle your business, boo, because I'm interfering on your time because they're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, so I get it, right? But that will be that block of time that they are, you know, getting their day started. You're getting your day started or whatever, right? Then the next thing you're going to do is if you work 9 to 5, you know that you're going to block off 9 to 5 because you're going to be delegating that time to work. But maybe you have a lunch and maybe your lunch time is an hour. How can you spend your time not so that every time is a working lunch, but maybe there's some things that you can do like I mentioned, like order medication, order food, create a schedule for what, their meal plan for the day, whatever it is, whatever you have on your to-do list that can go in that time, put it on there. I'm going to run back to that comment because I am very big on if you can get it in for the day, great. If not, it's rolling over to the next day. Because did anyone die? That's like one of my favorite sayings. Did you die? You didn't die. Okay. We didn't die. So we're going to roll it over to the next one. Yes, definitely. Bria. Can you explain what you're saying? Maybe I'm trying to read and think at the same time, and it's just not working for me.
Yeah, I think I was talking too fast, but what I mean is like I have like my daily to-dos, like I plan out for the week. But if I put a time on it, like make sure you do this at like 9 a.m., it always gets like messed up or like I freak out and don't do it at that time. But if I
Right.
don't put a time on it, it gets done that day based on
Yes.
priority. So like if I know I need to do this first thing in the morning, I have to do it that way. If I put a time on it, I don't know. It's just like my brain doesn't, but like it has to do it.
And that is very smart. And I'm also going to say, don't be rigid in your planning, right?
Mhm.
The reason why I'm saying that is because sometimes things will come up, right? So I have one of my interns at the private practice. She has a son who has autism, and she goes and picks him up right like at the tail end of us doing supervision. And there have been a time or two where we went over on supervision, and she got to ABA and he was like acting out, and she would have a session scheduled at 4:30. So now she's freaking out because she can't get him to regulate, and she's got this session at 4:30, and like she's feeling overwhelmed and all the things. Don't be rigid in your time by saying like, oh, at 9 o'clock I'm doing this, because just like what you said, Bria, it might not happen. And you'll get into this downward spiral where you start to beat yourself up, or you'll start to internalize, right?
Right.
And then what could happen is that you never do it at all, right? Like I have one of our assistants, she struggles with anxiety. And when, I give her like, hey, I need for you to do this, this, and this. And then she's also a college student. So when she gives herself like, I'm gonna do this at 3 o'clock, and then she's not done by 3 o'clock, then she starts to feel sad, she gets anxious, and then she goes into this downward spiral. And then I have to pull her off the ledge and be like, baby, this is due 2 weeks from now. We're not dying today. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. I see you, Skylar, saying, girl, that's me. That is me. But don't put a time on it, right? Put it in the block, right? Don't put a time on it, because then you start to overwhelm yourself. All right. So then you have your 9 to 5. So the next thing that you could also do, let's say, for instance, if you don't work a 9 to 5, you kind of have some flexibility, then you can break your day up into morning, afternoon, and evening. That's another way for you to do it, right? Where you have a block of time where like, okay, I'm going to commit 2 hours to doing capella, and I'm going to do 2 hours to, I don't know, work tasks, 4 hours to being a mom, whatever it is, right? Like for me, for example, after I do the spill the tea, I have to submit grades, so that way I can make sure that I'm staying within grading. Don't judge me. So I'm going to make sure that I submit grades. And then after that, I have an evening activity with my daughter because she wants to do ABC Mouse. Right. And so I know that I also need to cook dinner. So we're going to incorporate her homeschool activity into following directives and doing whatever, following directions, and she's going to help me chop the onions and whatever the case may be, right? So we're still incorporating that academic time, meal time, and also incorporating at some point ABC Mouse, because I have this block of time from 7:30 until 10, right? So that's a nice big chunk of time to get all those things in. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Okay. So then once you've done that, because I'm definitely being cognizant of time. Once you've done that, the next thing that I want you to do is be creative. So some of you have already mentioned that you like to use highlighters, right? Or some of you might use stickers. Like I have these little stickers that has like it has this little, her name is Lily. It's a character called Lily. It has Lily washing dishes, Lily working from home, Lily doing the money cash, the cash gun thing, because all staff, because our administrative staff all get paid on the last day of the week. Right. Yes. Making it rain. So like be creative. I want you to not look at this as necessarily like something that is overwhelming, but something that you can make your own, right? Because that's the important part. And when you do it, especially if you break it down, like let's say for instance, you're like, girl, when do I have time? I am doing all the things. When am I going to have time for this? Right? Maybe you start with doing a brain dump and then you break down your tasks the next, like you categorize everything the next day, right? Or maybe you do it on the weekend when you might have more time. Like I usually like to do some of my planning or at least a brain dump for the week on Sundays and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days when I do a brain dump, because on Tuesdays is the day when I meet with the administrative task. And on Thursdays, I have a little bit more of an open schedule, right? And I just want to remember what it is that I have to do.
And we have a hand up from Letitia.
Yes.
Hey, I just dropped it in the chat. I feel like I'm a mom of five. I mean, four of them are grown now, but I've just been like very organized for the most part, try to be. But I feel like what I'm struggling with now, and I put it in the chat, is like being an internship and like blocking out hours for clients, and then maybe clients not coming and then trying to block out hours for different things, and then stuff shifting and just like I'm trying to not be rigid with a plan, but then I also feel like, how am I going to get all the things done
Right.
without the plan? So I'm just
Right.
wondering if you have like tips on how to not be, and as I was typing it out, I'm like, maybe it's a control thing, but I don't know how to not be as rigid with the plan.
So one of the things that I like to do is inner child work, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot because you like, girl, did I say I was signing up for a therapy session during Spill the Tea? No, but you're absolutely right. It is a control thing, right? And I would definitely recommend. So let's say, for instance, because we do have some clients who don't show up for their sessions, right? Instead of freaking out about it, how can I utilize that time? So at our practice, we have a 10-minute grace period. After that 10 minutes, baby, free game. Your session is OVA. You are not showing up. Flag on the play, letting the caseworker know, writing a non-collateral contact, and I am doing whatever else to handle my business, right? And so if you have a situation like that where you are able to be flexible and to, fill that time with something else, then that's what I would recommend that you do. Fill the time with something else. But like you said, it is tied to control, right? And if you're constantly being rigid, then what happens when and I definitely don't want to put you on the spot and like you answer, but like think about when you're actually being rigid with your time, what happens when something else comes up completely unexpected. The world comes crumbling down because it was like, no, baby, from 2 to 4, we were supposed to be doing this. And now here it is, 4:05, and I'm still doing this. That's not okay. Right. So don't be so rigid. Do a block schedule. Maybe that might be better for you if you just like, okay, between this time and this time, I'm going to commit to doing this. So if you have clients that you see, let's say from 5 to 9, and then you have one that doesn't show up, okay, whatever it is that your site recommends that you do, you follow through with that. And then after that, what you'll do is you'll just spend the time, doing whatever task that you can do within that block of time when you were supposed to see that client. Does that make sense? And does that also answer your question? Because I don't want to.
It does make sense. I think that the feeling that I get is I start to feel like I'm all over the place. Like, um, okay, this client came, this client didn't, this client didn't. Like I start to feel like I'm just all over the place. But I know to fill the time in, but I think I also work like there's certain times when I work better on schoolwork. There's certain times when I work better, seeing clients. There's certain times when I work better doing house things. And so I think I don't know, I have to learn how to be more flexible and be able to do the schoolwork in like a later hour because I don't have a client now or something. So, but I gotta work on me. That's what I think.
So, but why not spend us like, because I get that, right? So after a certain part of the day, my brain shuts off and I have to do things that are kind of like on autopilot. So what I would probably do is if you could do something like, I don't know, like fold clothes or wash dishes, right? Or even researching, right? Like researching a different, like today, during today, I taught the team how to do motivational interviewing. So how can you improve your clinical skill? Maybe that's something that, you know, you could work on to fill that gap. Don't always feel like I have to do this within a certain time, because then when it doesn't, you, like you said, you'll feel like you're all over the place and you become frazzled. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. How many of y'all don't have a planner? Okay. So I made this especially for y'all. So
I start one, but
introduce,
never keep up.
I'm gonna,
I'm a
you don't have
techie. I do
planner
that
people.
Google stuff.
You
I
don't
love
have
my
planner
Google
people.
Calendar. Yeah,
You said Google Calendar?
100%. I need the technology so I can do it anywhere I am.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
I see that some of you wrote you use a yes. I don't use friction, but I use, it's called Deli, DELI pen, and it's very, very pigmented and it's erasable. I like it so much better than friction because you can erase it and it doesn't leave like those smudge marks, on top of the fact that you can like you can erase it and like it doesn't, like, well, you can write and it doesn't fade, because I noticed that with friction, you leave that thing in the sun, baby, it's over. It's over.
I have an e-ink tablet that I use for like my organizing.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Okay. I love that. I love that. For those of you, I love that for many reasons, because it kind of like it gives you opportunity. That's still electronic, right?
Yeah, it's a I have it right here. It's a Books Note Air 3C. It's like a Kindle, but it's a full-fledged tablet that has color.
Okay.
It's like, this is the screensaver. I don't know. Well, this is the lock screen now, and it has brightness and warmth and all that stuff.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Like, I
Destiny?
use it to track my hours. I don't know if you can see that because of my window, but
Oh, I like that.
I'm gonna
yeah.
jump in here since we've got 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
I put it in the chat that, like how to get the hour for supervision. We're staying another 10-15 minutes to chit chat, ask more questions if Dr. Mathias is staying. And if not, we can just talk about DK stuff. Any questions? Do you want to stop sharing your screen and we can see everyone's face?
Yes. Look, because I completely forgot that I was still sharing my screen.
Oh.
And I'll keep the recording going. Anyone who has to go, we're so happy you were here. We're so happy that you're part of DK and the Spill the Tea. Our next one is, we've got a bunch of stuff going on in May. May 7th is our next big event where we've got a study prep company coming in to kind of pitch us their study prep material, but also to give us a discount on their materials. And then starting on May 14th, we are starting a non-supervised stuck case clinic run by Darby, our VP of DK. And so that'll be more of like peer consultation. And I promised her I'd show up to that one. And we've got a lot of things coming down the pipeline. Check your socials. We're posting flyers. We're giving flyers to the professors so that we can all keep up to date with everyone. The info for the 7th should be coming in on Facebook. Where did everyone hear about this Spill the Tea?
My faculty advisor.
Okay.
Dr. Pate.
So if you're still getting it mostly from professors and like in your course room, we're going to make sure that your instructors have the information.
Yeah. Okay.
all from my advisors or instructors. I got this from my residency Discord chat.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
We're
That's-
trying to keep everyone updated as best we can through every avenue that we can. Our social media chair, she is doing a bang up job getting all of the flyers out to the like 15 places we've got it. So like Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitter,
Is there Instagram by chance?
and
What is-
Instagram. There is Instagram.
What do we look
Okay.
for on Facebook? Like what group are we following?
It's always going to be Pi Delta Kappa, but I'm going to go find my document that has all of those. And while I find that, I'll put it in the chat. You guys can keep on
Okay.
talking about our calendars and blocking stuff off.
I have a slightly random question. How do we access the recording? Because I wasn't able to come to the first one because I had supervision and I really wanted to know what that one was about.
Those are going up on our YouTube page. So I'm putting it
Cool.
in the chat where it's everything. Whew,
Awesome.
there's a list for you.
I'm
Oh,
just gonna copy and paste into a post-it.
definitely put too many in. So let me repost that and do only the real ones that exist.
Okay. This was fun. I enjoyed this.
Dr. Mathias, I just want to let you know that I have at least 10 years. I'm amazed. I mean, I don't do as much planning as you do, but 10 years of color coded, and they're all under, this is my current one, but it has like clients are in green and Capella is in blue and yoga is in purple and my fun stuff is in yellow. So I was really excited to see yours, and yours is a lot more structured. But I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. I thought I was the only one that still did paper planners.
No, you're
I
not.
even color code my notes. Like, I color code
Mhm.
everything that I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know what else I do? I keep colored Post-its with me and I jot it down and I put these in the book so that next
Mhm.
time I get to brain dumping, I can remember all the things that I took little notes on in my busy day. So
I used to
Yeah.
have colorful post-its, but 2 out of my 4 cats like to be little hole punchers and steal my post-its. So I had to get creative.
I love planning so much that I even created something called the MFT planner that is specific for MFT students. That's
What?
something
Where do you
that I
get
definitely
that?
want to share.
Where can we find that?
I was like,
Um,
I need that.
So it literally came on Wednesday because I published it like a week and a half ago. And I was like, I told the company, I was like, no, I need this like on the 29th. So the MFT planner, there's 2 editions. One is for the interns, and then this one is for students, right? And it is broken down to, because I can't remember exactly who asked about like when you have the goals, right? But it's broken down everything into goals. So you have your career path. If you like traveling is your jam, and that's something that you want to obtain within the year. Your social goals, financial, family, knowledge, spirituality, and lifestyle, health and wellness. But like it's broken down for you to break your goals for the year because it's a 1-year undated planner. You break it down, and then what helps you even further is you create your vision board, and then you break it down into SMART goals, and then you do mind mapping. And then like I like really wanted to break everything down so it will be so easy for you to achieve your goals within that year time frame. And then you have I broke it down into your monthly and your weekly planning. And then you have like your monthly reflection. So that's what I'm kind of like skipping past is the monthly reflection. And then you have the time blocking. And then you have a section for self with a therapist, So there's self of the therapist questions, or a section for self of the therapist. For those of you that are maybe like you're learning about self of the therapist work, but like being very intentional about yourself of the therapist. There's a whole section for that. And then if I do ask triggering questions, because remember, I like to do inner child work. So I ask inner questions, right? But to help ground you, I have activities, I have coloring pages, word search, Sudoku, all the things. And then you have another section that is broken down into quick reference. So you have MFT therapy models cheat sheet. So you have your major concepts. Now, these are the ones that are typically found on the MFT exam, which is another thing that I always like to I like to pride myself on that every student that has worked with me through the Hillman Collective and studied with me, they passed the MFT exam the first time.
Ooh.
So I'm really I recognize which ones, what models, what things you need to know, all the ethics stuff, all the things like when I took the California ethics exam, I passed it the first time, right? And I'm saying that not to brag, but because it's like I put all the things that you needed to know on steroids times 25 into this small little section. And everybody was like, do we need all that? You do. You need all the things. I'm trying to help you.
This is the intern or the student one? I'm sorry.
This is the intern one. I haven't even gone through the student one.
Okay.
Your helpful terms for if you're writing notes, like progress note writing, intervention terminology, your course schedule, important contacts, username. There's a budgeting section, and then an area for you to do your brain dump. So that's the intern section, right? Then for those that are in there, that are in the program, but they haven't gotten to internship yet, it has the same setup, same monthly reflections, the weeklies, weekly spreads. But then this one teaches you um, how to vet your supervision site, right? In your supervisor. So there's a whole section called internship prep, and we go over what you want your internship experience to look like, and how to like map it out, questions that you should be asking your supervisor and asking your internship site if you're vetting them. Then you have your tracker for that. You have your self of the therapist questions, but these self of the therapist questions are specific to students versus the ones that are already working with clients. That's different, right? Still got the coloring pages, the games. And then in this one, your quick reference, you have your MFT cheat sheet just in case like you need it. Like let's say for instance, you're taking a class and you need to like know, the important parts of what like narrative or solution focus or collaborative look like. And then there's a money manifestation and financial goals part, because before you get into the monthlies expenses piece, because I do acknowledge and notice that there are some learners who are paying for their courses out of pocket, which in my mind, I'm going to owe my student loans back for forever. So, so yeah, so I didn't
Yeah.
think about that. I didn't think about that until after the fact. And I was like, dang, there's people who actually pay for, school out of pocket, but you don't have to use this just for school. You can use this for personal as well. And then like the same thing with the course schedule, brain dumps, etc. The difference between this planner and any other planner is now if you don't like my voice, I'm sorry, but it comes with me also doing a recording of the planner. So it's kind of like you have a coach with you, or well, I
I
know that,
love this.
but like I am coaching you through this entire process. So I am reminding you, to remember who you are. why you're doing the things you're doing, so that way you don't stop the program, because life's right. And so I included all of that in this planner.
Dr. Terri,
How
where
can
do we
we
get
get it?
this?
Yes,
Where
we're
do we get this
sold. We're
sorcerer's
sold.
stone, for God's
I'm
sakes?
invested.
Girl, we were sold like 10 minutes ago.
I'm
All of us were like salivating, you know?
I'm sorry. I'll drop the link in the dang, I didn't even pay attention. I see, and now you're like, okay, so like where you get this book? Sorry. I'll drop the link in the comments. Because I am in the pre-order stage. So I let everyone know that I'm in the pre-order stage. So you will get your the planners will ship out on June 1st. So I would have gotten them because I'm mass producing them. And if y'all see, when y'all get your planner, you'll see this is amazing quality. It's like not some rinky dink. You can also, the paper quality is also heavy enough for you to also use like different mediums, because that was really important to me. Because when I like color and stuff, I like to use watercolor, and I needed paper that was heavy enough for watercolor. And so it's like really good, very pigmented. But I'm gonna stop talking because you're like, girl, just drop the link. That's cute, thank you, but drop the link.
I'm
So
here
I'm
for
gonna
all
drop
the
the link.
information too. So
Can we have your permission to post this to our social media?
Absolutely, sure.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, after we posted a discount for the test prep material coming up on May 7th, I got like 3 screenshots from friends saying, "Hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see this?" I was like, "Yeah, we posted it."
I love that. I love that. Also it ships free, just so y'all know.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm planning for this purchase.
Yes.
No pun intended.
So I wanted to think about, like, I really thought about all the things that were necessary. But you also, another thing is, I don't know if you'll and I know that some of y'all are probably like overwhelmed where you're like, girl, we already in school. But I also acknowledge that there are some learners who want more. And so you'll get instant access to our school community for the Hillman Collective as well. You'll be able to interact with all MFTs like around the world, not just at Capella. So just throwing that out there.
So I can stay for about 4 or 5 more minutes as the host for this. Just keep on. I just wanted to give you guys a time heads up. But if you have any questions about DK, our committees, or any more for Terri, you just keep on going.
You're so. What questions do you guys have?
Well, my mind went blank.
I'm with Letitia. It's more maintaining the balance of rigidity and flexibility.
Yeah.
Which I think for you, it sounded like it was a lot of kindness to yourself.
Being kind to yourself, also just like acknowledging the fact that life is gonna life, right? Like that, and that's one thing that I also preach in this planner, but I just preach in general. Life is sometimes gonna life when you least expect it. And that's one of the reasons why I recommend for you not to be rigid. I am definitely someone who like self-discloses, not like in session. I don't want you to think like I'm always like, girl, is this my therapy session or yours? Not that. Like, but if you have questions, I'm very transparent. But I learned the importance of not being so rigid because I had a 2-month-old that passed from SIDS during me writing my dissertation. And like my chair, the university was like, do you want to stop? Are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm gonna keep going because life is gonna life when you least expect it. Now, I'm definitely not gonna tell you to operate like me and and thug it out. I'm definitely not encouraging that. Like, take the space when you need it. But I was so close to the end that I was just like, okay, I need to be a little bit more flexible and not rigid about how I live life, because if I am that way, I'm gonna feel overwhelmed. You know, I'm going to be stressed out. And that also, like Letitia said, it's literally connected to control and childhood trauma, right? And me feeling like if there's, and I'm not saying that that's what Letitia is experiencing. So I'm not trying to project nothing on you or feel like you like, girl, you don't know my life. I don't, and I'm not going to pretend. I'm going to speak for myself, right? But like in my mind, the one thing that I feel like I can control is my time, right? And little other things. I can't control people, but I can control me. And in my mind, I can control time. But I end up learning from that experience that I can't control time. There's certain things in life that I just can't. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm like, don't be, you know, rigid in how you operate and maneuver through life, because it's going to overwhelm you.
What was your dissertation on?
It was on Black motherhood and the impact of transgenerational trauma. And I also wrote and published an interactive journal for Black mothers and their preteen and teenage daughters. So that's literally what my clinical work is around. And so I work with Black moms on that. And then I also like explore like how inner childhood trauma manifests into their parenting. And so now what I've because I have a biracial nieces and nephews, and so now I've expanded my work into working with parents that are working with Black kids, because a lot of the foster parents that I'm working with, they're adopting Black African American kids, but don't know how to do the simplest things like do hair, right? Like what products to use. And sometimes we don't create spaces, like, and I'm speaking from like, you know, honesty, like sometimes African American parents or just African Americans don't always create the space for parents that are raising Black kids to ask those questions. And so like I wanted to create that space as well. So that's what my dissertation was on. And I use myself as a research participant, and don't ask me how was that experience, because it was ghetto. 0 out of 10, do not recommend.
Oh,
I will say, as a hairstylist, they don't teach it in hair school either.
they don't?
Nope. Everything in our books is to white hair. And if you wanted to learn how to do textured hair, you had to go talk to people that weren't licensed.
Yeah.
This is bonkers.
And I wanted,
I agree. And we did talk about that a little bit in hair school, but it's like this, it's you're drinking through a fire hose and you're just trying to get licensed.
Yeah.
I wanted to, well, I pre-ordered the book, the planner.
Thank you.
I
But
have it up right now. I'm gonna find a credit card. You were saying,
they got,
continue.
it's a payment plan, girl. So no, okay.
Oh, okay.
It is on there. But I wanted to just even thank you for, because I like the way that you've taken the research and the things that you've done, and you've created a product that will be useful to people in different stages that they're in. And I think that that is a great example of other things that we can do with this license and with this information that we may not consider. And so thanks for that.
No, thank you. I'm fortunate enough to have gone to my university when I did, because I learned after I graduated that the program kind of changed. But what I told my chair was that I didn't want to just come into the MFT field and be like, oh, like come sit on my couch, tell me your problems. Like I want to be a change agent. I want to do things outside of the box, and I want to be able to apply it. And so, you know, he really had me sit down and figure out, what does that look like? And how can you actually like expand on what you do, right? And that's when I was just like, I want to create a journal, because I still have my journals from when I was in elementary school, like literally sitting up here in the cabinet. So I'm just like, I was like, I want a journal, and I want other moms to journal. But that also comes from me losing my mom, right? Like there were so many things that I wanted to ask her or talk to her about that I wasn't fortunate enough to live to, or she wasn't fortunate enough to live that long for me to explore that with her. And so it was like, while other parents have the opportunity to build that connection with their child or their daughter, like do that. Right. And so, so I think that that is just like so important to utilize your assets and what you know, your lived experiences, and turn that into a thing. Don't just be stuck, you know, doing therapy, because if you do, it's you're going to get burnt out really fast, really fast.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you so much.